Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is just a quick one talking about why I am personally skipping Aventurine for my account. This is more personal and subjective because I'm talking about Aventurine in the context of my account and where I'm at in the game. If you want a more general overview of him, as well as Luocha and Fu Xuan, which is another preservation unit you can consider a very strong unit as well. I made a video 2 videos ago about that. So essentially, for me, there are 3 main reasons why I'm not gonna pull Aventurine. The first being the most subjective, but arguably the most important. That being, he just isn't my favorite character, personality, design, and animation-wise. Don't get me wrong, I do like him much more now after the 2.1 story where they really focused on him. I think they did a good job making him sort of the protagonist of it, giving him a lot of backstory. I like that. His animations look fine too, but it's nothing out of this world, nothing too crazy. And for me personally, I would rather get some of the previous characters that I haven't gotten when they rerun maybe, or just save for a future upcoming character. I am vertically investing in my account, so I like to get signature light cones, I like Eidolons, and to do that you really need to save. So I just have to be extra picky about which characters I pull. So if they are not like really appealing to me personally, then that's like the main reason I don't go for them. Yeah, it's super subjective, but you get my point. I won't dwell too much on that. Instead, I'd like to focus this video mostly on my second reason why I'm skipping him, which is the fact that I don't really need him. In fact, I don't even really need any sustain units at this point in the game that I'm at right now. So at this point, we're talking more about the kit and the gameplay of the character. So for a quick refresher, Aventurine is essentially a Japart, but with easier time applying shields and higher shield uptime and ease of maintaining shields. He has a debuff on his ult that increases the damage dealt to a single target, as well as having some nice AoE follow-up attack damage on his own, although it's not significant, but it's still there. At the core of it though, he is a sustain unit that's meant to keep your team alive. He doesn't really add too much damage to your team. Another unit like Harmony units or Nihility units will do a better job of amplifying and increasing your team's overall damage. So if I needed to keep my team alive, he would be a great pick. However, for overworld content and most content like story content, you only need 1 sustain. Usually you want to allocate the other slots to damage dealers and amplifiers to make it so you can kill the enemy, and then usually 1 sustain is enough. And for the harder endgame content like Forgotten Hall, starting from stage 11 you're required to have 2 teams to clear the content, as well as Memory of Chaos requiring you to have 2 teams. That's why if you're a new player, you might have heard people say have 2 sustains and you'll be comfortable for the game. It's because of this. Memory of Chaos, Pure Fiction require 2 teams because there are 2 sides that you have to compete in. So I don't need Aventurine because I already have 2 sustains, straight up. I have Luocha, which I pulled early on, and I have Fu Xuan, both of which are amazing solo sustains. An argument can be made if you have only Natasha, if you only have Lynx, if you only have Gallagher. There might be an argument to say that, they might not be able to solo sustain you, and you might want to pick up an Aventurine to make your life much more comfortable. However, with limited 5-star sustains like Luocha and Fu Xuan, as well as Huo Huo, they usually are plentiful to keep your team alive. And so, if you have 2 of them, will you really need another one? So that was the case for me for the past 8 months of playing the game. But recently, after getting Jingliu, and especially now after getting Acheron, where I can run my teams the way I run them now, this might sound weird to some of you, but there are more times where I don't run sustain units compared to times when I do run them. I mean, let's just take a look at this recent Memory of Chaos 12 that just released. Let's look at the teams I used to clear. If you notice, I'm only running 1 sustain. My first half, my Acheron team, Acheron, Pella, Silverwolf, Sparkle, there's no sustain in there. And that's basically because I kill them faster than they kill me. Think about it this way. Every character has a certain amount of health, and if you can kill the enemies, deplete their health before they deplete yours, then is there really a need to top the health up? And just to be clear, in case you think this is only doable with high Eidolons and insane crack supports and stuff like that, I just want to show you that my Acheron team is actually very achievable. I'm running Eidolon 0 Acheron with her signature light cone. So yes, it's Acheron plus a signature light cone. That's like 2 5-stars. And for the Sparkle, she is Eidolon 0 as well and her 5-star light cone. So this is in fact very achievable. Although the only thing I'll say is that my relic quality is pretty good. I farmed for Acheron for like 2 months now. So she has pretty good relics as well. My supports, they have decently good tanky relics, but it's nothing impossible to achieve. And if you keep playing, you can definitely achieve this. It's not like you need Eidolons or whatever. I'm not saying you need to go for this. I'm just saying that it is achievable and I have achieved that. My second half is running Fu Xuan because Aventurine is so tanky. I think he has 2 million HP and he just does so much damage that I couldn't figure out a way to zero cycle with Jingliu because she also drains your team's HP that it's like kind of hard to tank everything. So I felt like I need to bring Fu Xuan. And so I ended up 2-cycling this whole MOC. I 0-cycled the first half and then I 2-cycled the second half. Although I might try different strats to see if I can reduce that further. But yeah, essentially, I only use 1 sustain right now. But that's this MOC. For the previous one, let's take a look at our teams. In that one, I didn't use a single sustain unit. And this one, I actually true 0-cycled, which means I 0-cycled first half and then I 0-cycled second half as well, which I'm very happy about. Definitely didn't take me 6 hours or anything. Oh my god. Yes! Yes! I was here! You were here! We were all here! First try! I'm kidding, I'll first try. So yes, I'm the type of player that likes challenge. I like to manual battle. I like to push the limits of my characters. I like to farm perfect relics, to squeeze out extra damage from them, to, you know, just be able to 0-cycle these things and just to clear faster. If you like comfy gameplay and you don't like resetting or having any risk of dying, then yeah, sustains can help. But honestly, with certain level of investment, your characters can do so much damage that it can even be comfortable 0-cycling. Like in this new MOC, I basically 0-cycled everything up till floor 11 in the first try. It was pretty comfortable. I didn't run a healer for any of these stages. Okay, once again, this is just to share my perspective, but to help you visualize it, I came up with this. On the y-axis, it's kind of the value of sustain units, and on the bottom, it is time spent playing the game. So let me quickly explain this. At the start of the game, which is over here, your characters are weak, but enemies are also relatively weak, but you still need healers and shielders to kind of help you get through things because you basically will kill them at the same rate they kill you almost. And it will get easier because as you progress through the game, your world level still stays the same at the start, and you get more gear, so you get stronger, so it kind of gets easier, hence a slight downward curve. But then you hit equilibrium level up, and then all the enemies get suddenly stronger, so that's a spike up there, and it rinses and repeats, right? You get more gear, you gear up, enemies get stronger, you gear up, enemies get stronger, you gear up, enemies stronger, until you get to the end, the final gear up. And that's usually when people are challenging the hardest MOC or are starting to challenge MOC, depending on the pace you're taking it. But keep in mind at this point, the game doesn't get harder. I mean, yes, the end game content does incrementally get harder. Like compare MOC 10 from last time to MOC 12 now and see the difference in just how much HP the boss has, for example. But that's also where time spent playing comes into play. Because not only are we getting stronger supports in this game, like for example, Runmei didn't exist when 1.0 of the game was here. We also get more Jade the more we play. Like, our account just gets stronger in the sense that we just accumulate more Jade over time, which means we can get more strength, be it through signature like cones, eidolons, or whatnot. So you'll get to a point where the enemies don't really have a big jump in difficulty from equilibrium level up, but we continue playing the game and we continue to get stronger because we get more Jade and we have more time to farm stuff. We have more power overall the more we play. So we get to a point where it just keeps getting easier, pretty much. And obviously, it's different depending on how much you play and stuff like that. But for me, as someone who plays every day and someone who bought the BP and Express Pass consistently, this is my experience where I spend a lot of time playing and the value of sustain units are at an all-time low now. And I will assume unless they introduce some crazy new boss that requires you to have a sustain unit or something to clear, I feel like the value of sustain units will keep going down for me as well. Because for me, it's either I'm okay with using a sustain unit and still clearing fast because my other units are just well built, or I go for 0 cycles and try to clear it as fast as possible, which means dropping my sustain unit in favor of more damage. So hopefully that helps you understand a bit of the perspective of if you hear some people say, oh, I don't need sustain units, or you'll get to a point where sustain units are not as valuable. This is what they mean. I've said this in my previous videos, but I'd like to say once again, this doesn't mean that I think pulling sustain units are a waste of money, a waste of time, waste of resources or whatever. I'm still very happy that I pulled my Luocha. I'm very happy that I pulled my Fu Xuan because like I said before, they made my life much easier at the time and they brought me a lot of comfort and ease and joy of playing at the time. And I think that's invaluable, right? Like I almost treat it like buying a movie ticket. They enhanced my experience, gave me a good experience at the time. So I'm not going to be like, I want a refund right now because the movie is over. Although when I do need to, I can still bring in Luocha and he performs really well. And that's a bonus to me. For example, in this recent event, I actually used Luocha because the nature of it just requires you to have healing. So the value of a character is not truly wasted. It's just that I find that I'll have more value pulling other characters rather than Aventurine for me at this time. And that leaves me with my final point. The third reason I'm not pulling Aventurine is even in situations where you need sustain or sustains are very, very valuable, the one that I can think of is Swarm Disaster or Golden Gears, where enemies hit so hard and not having a shield is basically a death sentence. Although there are still other ways to play around it due to the really, really powerful curios and blessings and strategies you can do in Golden Gears and Simulator Universe. But aside from that, in situations like that, I still feel like for raw survivability, if I need big shields, Japard would be enough. I have Japard with his Light Cone and I have Eidolon 1. So for a specific scenario where I do need shields, which is something Aventurine is the best for, I feel like my Japard will suffice. And seeing as he's basically free, I didn't have to spend any jade to get him. I'm happy to use him instead of Aventurine, even if he's a slight downgrade, because I can just make up for it in the case of Golden Gears and Swarm Disaster by just planning better, strategizing better, using the blessings to my advantage. I don't think that's something I would want to spend jade to like basically make up for my skill issue personally. Although I think that's fine. I think my ego just won't let me do it, to be honest. So yeah, it is what it is. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave it in the comments below or ask me on my Twitch stream. I do stream regularly and it'd be nice to see you there. That's it. Hope you have a good one. Much love. Take care. Bye-bye.